Thank you very much for inviting me to be here and as a speaker for the civil society in Thailand. I introduce myself. Actually, I don't work for backyard politics anymore, but I still a political activist and also uh, a feminist activist as well. I have been an activist for 7 years for Thailand since I was a student in Thammasat University in Bangkok. So today I want to introduce you to the situation in Thailand and also the big picture of the civil society in Thailand right now under the under the military government. Actually, the coup d'etat is happening on the 2014, and it's already 7 years from now from there to now, and we have elections, we have new constitution, but we still, as a civil society, we still consider it as a not things like the elections have been organized under the military constitution, and the the constitution have right down by the military, and people just do the referendum under the pressures and fears of the power of the military. So the constitution is not democracy, and the way of elections is under the constitution and it's also not democracy. And then we still now have the party, the government from the military side. So even we have election doesn't mean that we have democracy in Thailand right now. So for civil society in Thailand, we start uh, um, we can start to know them from the 1970s. So then we have uprisings of the students and people in 2076. We have the very big uprising, and then the government do the massacre to the students in Thammasat University. Back that time, it's 45 years ago. So at that time, students fled to the forest in Thailand and joined with the Communist Party, Thailand Communist Party, with supported by Chinese Communist Party. So, so at that time, Communist Party with the join with the students from Thammasat University and many students across the country fight against the military. At that time, U.S. Government have support the military, the government, and the monarchy to destroy the movement of the Communist Party and also the movement of students in the forest. So U.S. as a very important role to building up the monarchy at that time, and they help the monarchy to do the propaganda and everything until now. The monarchy have very strong role in the Thai society, and it's our struggle, the big struggle that we try to get rid. Sorry, these words maybe can tell me. So we change the word. Um, so as the very strong propaganda back to the time 45 years ago, and they continue do the propaganda until now. So the monarchy become a very important and strong power in the institution in Thailand. So what we try to solve the problem is we try to reform the monarchy and we try to reform the military. That is a result of the U.S. want to get rid of the Communist Party in Thailand, and also they promoting the monarchy that become a main problem now in Thailand. So, but later on, nowadays, the role have changed. So China have very different role from 45 years ago. they now support the monarchy instead, and they, as they have the very strong power in economics, and they also support the military that we fight against. So China changed their role from support the Communist Party to support the monarchy and the dictatorship in Thailand. And the role of the U.S. is then the many organizations from U.S. support the Thailand pro-democratic movement. So the role have changed in Thailand very much. So from that day of the massacre in October 1976, so the movement continuing, civil society growing up from there until now. Many organizations start 45 years ago, and still now they still have the organization, and also the NGO at that time, they become our senior NGO right now. But the uprising of young people in 2020 it's last year, in the midst of last year. They are not start by the NGO for 40 years ago, but they just organically start because of the pressure from the military government, from the feeling that they lost their dream, their home, and the economy is so bad. So, and under the dictatorship, young people in Thailand, they feel it, that they cannot do anything, even their dream, not even about politics. They just want to get rid of the dictatorship in Thailand. So they finally come to the street, start by the university student and also the high school student. They come on the street, and later on we have very big mass protest, around 100,000 of people. Most of them are young people. They start protest and having demand to the government organically, like nothing about the previous NGO have organized them or something like that. They just start by themselves. And their demand is, one, they want to reform the monarchy. Two, they want to have new constitution that come from people, because right now we have constitution but come from military. So the third demand is they want to get they want Prayut Chan-o-cha, the recent prime minister that come from military, to leave the parliament, and so give us a new election. So, but new election will have no meaning if the new constitution will not come, because the new constitution have the Senate that were promoted by military. So even we have elected some of the elected our party, the pro-democratic party, but we still have the Senate that come from military that will have rights to vote for the prime minister. So 250 Senate still take the most of the majority of the parliament, and they still can vote for their own, the military prime minister. So we want election, but also we want to change constitution. Otherwise, we will have next election. We still have the military government again. So that's what we want to do, to reform the country, to do the revolutions. So what young people facing right now is that the government have their own strategies on stop the mass protest by arrested leader of the protest. The leader of the protest is young people like Paris, like Luang Panasaya. Those are the leader that they arrested and bring them to jail. Right now is around 13 people in jail. They are all the leaders, and with that strategies, it's very active because so right now we don't have very big movement anymore. Oh, sorry, very big protest anymore because all our leader for the movement and for the strategies have been in jails, and they give a very strong rule that if you want to get if you want to get out of the jail, you need to be stay in the home. It's similar to the condition that Aung San Suu Kyi have it in the past. So our leader can get out of the jail, but you have to stay just in home or go to court or university. That's all. So it's mainly they were jailed in their house. So if the leader don't want to stay in prison, they need to accept this condition. So there's only one leaders accept that constitution because they cannot put up with the condition in prison anymore. The situation, the condition in prison in Thailand is very bad and very violate to human rights. So you are not a human in the jail in Thailand. So most people they don't want to stay in jail, even they prepare their body, their mind for that, but it's still a hell for people. So that's what's happening to the leader. And now we don't have that big protest anymore. So we have a small one. It can show that our mass protest last year doesn't continue well, and we don't have that very good organizing those people to become a long-term member of the movement or to become to be next leaders or to organize themselves to be a group. So the NGO like me and previous NGO feel guilty as they don't have platform to holding or the hundred thousands of people who come last year. We cannot have the platform that hold them and make them being with us all the time, or we cannot continue the uprising. So some of us feel guilty on that. And also the last point I want to talk about, no, the one on in the two last point that I want to add is about the civil society as well. We were take apart it. So I divide them as a three types of civil society under the military regimes right now. First, they are the one who take the side of the military, as they will be solved by being the side with the government because they have power. So every issues about the environment, about the community rights, all of those issues will be solved under the military government. So they take the side and support military government, and some of them become member of the parliament by the party of the military. So, but the second type of the civil society is they some negotiation with the government because their situation is so bad in the local areas. Like they have the situation of minings that they kind of protest against the minings and the dam, or some like community rights or land that they need the support from the government to stop it immediately. So they have some negotiate with the military government in terms of they can release or they can sometimes stop the damage on their village, something like that. But they don't really like fully support the government. They just negotiate some. But the last type of the civil society in Thailand is people who fight for like no, like they not support at all to the military. If the military want to negotiate or have dialogue, they refuse everything because it's I am in this type. It's because we believe that military have no right to talk with us. We don't accept this military as the government. So um, so we can see the clear example like the LGBT movement right now they become a two part. One part they support the military government because they want the marriage rights, equality marriage rights that the government promised to give them. And one part they said the rise of the marriage equality it will not come by the military government, and they support and go to the street with the protester because they protest for the LGBT rights and also the protest for the democracy rights. So the movement of LGBT be taking a part as a two movement right now, and they have argument on which way is the right way for LGBT, something like that. So this is the picture of the Thai civil society under the military regime. Thank you very much. Oh, sorry, I missed the last point about the China factor. So mainland China have a lot of impact to the military government. They first of all they support the loyal families. So every loyal family member needs to visit the mainland Chinese government, the Beijing government, and also um, China have invest a lot in Thailand right now with the military regimes. Um, the military government they kind of very open up for the social economic zone, which is China is the main investor that will invest to the social economic zone and community people in the village the in the area that they will have social economic zone have the conflict with the government on that because they want to grabbing the land and they want to make the land become a very big majority of industrial area. So 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 the community have the conflict with the government and the China support the government to to open up the social economic zone anyway, even if violate the rights of the community or the rights on land of the people. So we have this kind of conflict that very clearly that it's become because of the power of China. And also the China has many policies that support the economic in Thailand. And recently they will taught us how to prevent. It's very funny because in mainland China still have the poverty and they will taught us how to get rid of the poverty in Thailand. It's kind of very contrast. and and lastly they have very big project in the Mekong River. They're doing the dam in many dam in Mekong River that Thailand having a community in Thailand in the border have the effect from the damming from Chinese damming because they do a big dam along the side of the river and then we lower and we get affected by the damming the level of the river is less in and it changes season to season and the fishing the life of the people across alongside with the river have changed the livelihood have changed it's very become very bad effect to the Thai people and Thai community alongside of the river and we demand China to stop doing the dams and fix the problem and even destroy the dam because it changed the livelihood of people along the sides of the river. Yes, and also the after the military government, they have support a lot of tourism from mainland China to come to Thailand. And after the COVID pandemic, our income from the tourism have all even almost all destroyed it because all the Chinese tourism cannot come to Thailand anymore. And we really rely on Chinese tourism right now. And also the government have very strong bond on the vaccine from Chinese, so they don't have the mRNA vaccines. They just have the contact with the Chinese government to give us the Sinovac, Sinopharm vaccines that really the quality of the vaccine is questionable and we don't have a good vaccine. So the pandemic in Thailand is very bad management and we still get infected because of we have this the normal vaccine but not mRNA vaccine. It's what happening now. We just get Pfizer and Moderna just the mid of this year, but like other country that developing country they have Pfizer for a long time, but we just have it um 7 years. It's sadly for our people that we um that we don't have that good quality of life under the military regime. That's all my point. Thank you.